My boss fired me for a crime I didn't commit. 3 months later, his company collapsed, and guess who was interviewing him for a job? At 24, I thought my path was clear. I wasn't just an employee, I was the backbone of my department. I was the one who knew which clients demanded extra attention, which contracts had hidden traps, which systems would collapse if you pressed the wrong button. I wasn't bragging, it was just the truth. But one morning, everything ended. My boss called me into his office. Papers were spread out on the table. He said money was missing from the budget, and somehow all the arrows pointed at me. I remember laughing in disbelief. You think I did this? But he didn't even flinch. The golden boy, his favorite, stood in the corner, smirking, saying nothing. And I realized they had chosen me as the scapegoat. By noon, I was no longer an employee. By evening, I was a thief in everyone's eyes. At first, my girlfriend held me when I broke down. She said, "We'll get through this. You're too smart to stay down." And I believed her. But as weeks turned into months, the support cracked. Rent was late. Dinner was cheap takeout. She stopped inviting me to meet her friends because she hated explaining why I didn't have a job. The little things became battles. She'd say, "Why don't you just apply anywhere? A job's a job." And I'd snap back, "You don't get it. My name is ruined. No one wants a thief on their team." One night, after another argument, she looked at me with eyes that were no longer soft. She said, "I can't do this anymore. You're dragging me down with you." She packed her bags. The slam of the door echoed louder than any words. That night I sat in the dark and realized I had lost everything. My job, my future, my relationship. But what my old boss didn't know was that firing me was the biggest mistake of his life. Because I hadn't just been another worker. I was the one who kept the fragile system from breaking. I was the guy who remembered which client wanted reports in Excel, not PDF, who knew which numbers were fake promises, which deals were smoke and mirrors. Without me, it was only a matter of time before the walls started to crumble. And crumble they did. The company began to lose contracts. Clients complained about delays, mistakes, unanswered calls. Systems I had maintained for years collapsed because no one else knew how to fix them. The golden boy who framed me, he was nothing without me. Meanwhile, I didn't stay down. Another firm saw my potential, gave me a chance. I was running projects larger than anything I'd done before. For the first time, I felt valued. For the first time, I was building something of my own. By the time my ex-boss's empire was burning, I was already rising. Promotion after promotion, responsibility after responsibility, until finally I became CEO of a growing company. And then, life gave me the moment I'd been waiting for. During interviews for a managerial role, the door opened, and there he was, my old boss, the man who had branded me a thief, the man who destroyed my career, my relationship, my peace of mind. He looked older now, tired, desperate. When his eyes met mine, he froze. For a second, I saw recognition and fear. He tried to smile. "I don't know if you remember me." "Oh, I remember," I said calmly. The room was silent. He was sweating, trying to hold on to dignity. I leaned back in my chair and said the words I had waited years to say. "I'm sorry. You're not what we're looking for."